Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the very budget version. Last video, 2 days ago, we showcased 50 to 60x worth of an EK Nova character with a headhunter on that wasn't counted in that budget. So, and asked what kind of budget people would expect for a more casual player to make a second or third character, and the results mostly came in around 20x, so that's what we aimed for. So what I did was I completely stripped the character down to nothing, no jewels, no anything at all, literally wearing nothing, and rebuilt him on a budget of 20x. Now, in an effort to be as honest as possible, we not only kept track of what we bought, named everything, specifically told when things are important, like the numbers don't matter on this, or that you only need one of these two options, etc. But I also bypassed quite a bit of power when there were opportunities to pick stuff up that people hadn't thought of cheap. So like, for instance, I could have got an EK Nova projectile speed Crown of the Inward Eye. They were up for 1x, but there was only one, and then the next one was 3x, and then the next one was 12, and then there weren't any more. So I just didn't pick that up. And there were many we did all of this on stream. There were many examples of that where they were just like 2 or 3 of this really good item that would have made me powerful, but if I put out a guide for it, those wouldn't exist and people wouldn't be able to replicate it. So we took pains to make sure that what we bought was not only cheap and affordable versions, but also that they were things that existed in the hundreds so that people could easily copy them. So we've got screenshots of most of the items that I bought whenever they worked, which apparently load really slowly on my computer because, I don't know, I'm Australian. Let's not worry about that. We also have images of our currency stash tab that we started with. I have 2 currency stash tabs in game. Man, they are just not loading, eh? Right, they'll work for other people. My internet is being quite dodgy right now. But you can see the currency stash tab we started with, which was, I think it was 17x 300 chaos and some random change around the place. And the total cost ended up costing, we spent about 16.5, 17-ish x. You can see where all the money went. You can see screenshots of anything that was relevant, and you can also see the trade searches for when I went to buy things. So like, when I looked for an amulet with leech on it, this is the search I used for amulets with leech on it. You can see I looked for an amount of life, an amount of resist, fire damage, leech does life. I hit search, and then I organized by resistances and scrolled down until I found one that was appropriately priced. There's a 30, there's a 40, there's a 3 chaos one, there's a 30 chaos, there's a 15 chaos. As you can see, those can all be done. There's a search like that for every single one of them. Ah, here they are. They loaded in. So this is what we started with. Before, with a just completely naked character, I started with a currency stash tab that looked like that, and I ended with one that looked like this. So you can see we spent about 16.5, 17x total. And you can see this one specifically, this was the stuff that I already had that was already very cheap to replace. Which I even counted, even though I kept those from the budget, from the high budget build. We literally priced them on stream to buy them again, and it cost 80 chaos, and I just paid myself 80 chaos. I'm just pulling it out of my budget tab and putting it in my actual currency tab, which is over here, which I'm just not using anymore because we're hiding that currency. So I just bought that from myself. So as far as how does the build do on a budget, Balor? Well, this build on this sort of budget is probably not designed to do delirious maps. Now, it works pretty well I'm going to play it on... Actually, we'll just leave it on 1x speed. It can clear... So these are endgame maps and these are juiced maps. So I've got proper watchstones in. I've got 4 scarabs in. They're rolled to 80 plus quant, etc. So this is Legion farming maps. It happened to roll a bunch of extra breaches. So there's just a lot of breaches in this map. I'm going to probably be playing this character tomorrow as well. As you can see, explosions still covering everything. You can see that it takes down portals relatively quickly. I will be honest, the single target took quite a bit of a hit while trying to come into a budget this low, but you can still see we've still got a really effective life pool. Quite nice. Make that bigger. Quite a nice life pool, quite nice regen. We've got leech, we've got over leech now. We've got life and energy shield leech. We've got a little under half the damage we had, which is sad because I've played the expensive version for a whole day and then I came back to this and that was a bit of an adjustment, but it's more than enough to kill everything in maps. It's still enough to kill the map bosses. It's more than enough to break out legions. I wouldn't feel super comfortable or good about doing like proper endgame bosses. Like I wouldn't want to do, I probably wouldn't even want to do the proper hard invitations on this current budget. I probably wouldn't want to do Cirrus, although it could do Cirrus. It's enough DPS, but it's not super high. It's just enough clear and enough to kill rares and map bosses at this stage. Now, people were asking, can it do Delirious maps? So we chucked in a 20% Delirious, 90-something% quantity, tier 16 burial chambers, full with scarabs, sextants, everything like that, just to see if it could handle that. And as far as mapping goes, it's definitely a little slower than the 60x plus headhunter version that I was running, but can it run still? Yep, it can still do it. It can still kill everything. The map boss in burial chambers specifically is a little dodgy because of the it eats souls, and because your DPS is a little low and it would normally take 15-20 seconds to kill a map boss in Delirious with 6 tiles, which is what we've got at this rate. This boss in particular is probably a no-go, but any other boss would be fine. I say no-go, it's a no-go for me because I get bored after 10 seconds and bored out, but it was safe. The build is way too tanky and I could have just stayed there until it died. But I got bored. So yeah, we can do the Delirious stuff. We can even break out legions inside Delirious. You'll see this is in the tier 16 Delirious map with Woke 7 Atlas. Quite comfortably still breaking out the whole legion. Doing that quite well. Honestly, for this sort of budget, I'm a little impressed that it actually went this far. I wasn't expecting it to be able to be this good. This is quite a lower budget than I would normally run a build. So I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. So we got that. We got that. We've got the path of building right here, which I can pull up real quick. Ba-ba-da. Now, the next question I had for everybody is, I was now considering taking this 17 Exalt build. You can see we've only got 2.5 million damage right now. This time we don't have power charges, we don't have frenzy charges. Those would make quite a difference. We don't have a lot, to be honest. We don't have a lot. You can see in my items here, while we've still got the same weapon and shield, we've got just a Crown of the Inward Eye, which is pretty decent. We've only got Explode on the chest. That's it. That's all we could afford. We've only got faster projectiles on the gloves. We happened to grab one with Frenzy Charge on kill. Again, not important. It's just that there were 45 of those up and they were all like less than 10C. So why not buy them? At least we can get some Frenzy Charges back. There's no Tailwind, no Elusive. The rings very cheap, no good implicits at all, and we just got Herald of Ash buff effect and mana reservation. That was our budget version. We ended up putting on a soul tether to get Immortal Ambition, so we've got life leech and overleech as well as the double regen. So technically this budget version's actually tankier than the high budget version, but you know, that's fine. We had to drop flasks. Obviously we couldn't afford a bottled faith, although it's worth noting that on the 20x budget I had, it's only 6x for a bottled faith, which would be the very next upgrade that I would do on this build, would be a bottled faith. In order, I would get a bottled faith, I would fix the chest, because the chest I got can be turned into a power charge generating and life as energy shield chest, but you would eventually want to get something that looks like this. It could be an astral plate still, or a Val Regalia, doesn't matter, but this is your endgame chest, what you're looking for. I would probably go for a bottled faith. I'd go for this chest, and then I might, if I wanted to speed up a little bit more, go for tailwind on my boots, and then that would be where I'd stop and start saving for a headhunter. If people are interested, I am heavily considering taking my current build in its current budget with my current backup tab here and farming all the way up to a new headhunter, and maybe documenting it every 2 days or so. Every second day we'll put out a new video and we'll be like, these are the things we upgraded, this is how we made our money, this is how many hours it took, and just, you know, showing people the progression and being incredibly honest about how many hours I've played to get it there, so that people could know what to expect out of that sort of thing. So if that's something you would be interested in, please let me know. Please let me know what kind of format you'd like and how often you would like updates, if that's a thing. I will link everything below in the description, all of including this spreadsheet, the path of building, etc., and a link to the higher budget video that I did a few days ago, in case you're just seeing this one first and not the old one. But yeah, this has been a fun experiment. I really don't do builds this cheap normally. This has been quite fun, it's performing quite well. I hope people enjoy it. That is all from me, and I will see everybody later.